Good afternoon. I'm Sharonda, and I'm here once again this week bringing you another conversation for the Red Couch. And today I have with me Mr. Larry Jones and Mr. Nathaniel Yarborough from RH Green Funeral Home. How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you doing today? Doing well, doing well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, thank you. It's actually an honor to have you guys here in the lounge with me tonight. A lot's going on. It's the beginning of a new year, and we're gonna have some conversations that will help people at home understand that sitting here with people that you normally sit with at time of bereavement is not the only time they can talk to you.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So today I wanted to just have a conversation with these gentlemen because it was a topic that was brought to me and I felt like we needed to talk about it and no other people to talk about it but the experts, the professionals that do this every day. But let me give you a little background. So in my research, I do my research, I have learned that you and your parents purchased the funeral home, which has been a landmark in Warren County since 1977.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And from Mr. and Mrs. Green.
Yes. From Mr. and Mrs. Richard Green back in 2007.
Okay. Wow. It's a long
I've been
time.
here for a good little while.
Okay. And in honoring their legacy, one of the things that I've come to appreciate is that you all have been able to continue to show that compassion for community.
Yes.
And so I just want to thank you guys for always doing that and reaching out for the compassion that Warren County is known for. And so we still get that, all those new management, new owners, we still get that commitment for leadership and for community and commitment. And also in that, I just want to also highlight that you have been doing the holiday gala. So how has that been going? How did that come about?
The holiday gala came about. Mr. Yarborough wanted to give back to the community last year, 2 years ago, and he wanted to create something where people would just come. They wouldn't have to pay, but just a way of our saying thanks to the community for their support, to the families that have served us, and he gave us what he was looking for, and we took it and.
Oh, you executed it.
But Larry's good with that. Larry he can basically make anything happen. All you have to do is just tell him, and he'll come back and it's here.
It's I had the pleasure of actually going to the one this year and the one last year, and it was so inviting. And I think that also goes to the excellent community support that we talked about, and also the customer service that stellar customer service that y'all are known for. So I encourage you to keep it going. And I know that some families may come to you for other reasons, but on that day, it was a very celebratory event. So just want to say thank you all for doing it and reaching out to the community, because it's events like that that make us connected and keep us grounded. And so nobody else is doing that. And when you say, hey, I'm going to the holiday gala and it's hosted by none other than the funeral home staff, and you get in there, you feel welcome from the entrance of the door through the whole event. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, keep up the good work. So Riddick Events is gonna have some events coming up, and I'm gonna need you on my committee to get you a shirt. So let's shift the conversation a little bit. So, and I know this is a tough topic. It's a crucial topic that we have to have, but let's talk about the ministry. When I talked to you earlier, Larry, you said this is a ministry. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Oftentimes, people think that working in the funeral home is a job.
Mm-hmm.
It is a job. It's an occupation, but it's a ministry because you're ministering to different families. No family is alike.
Correct.
Every family is different. You have to meet their needs. Some families want this, some families want that, but you have to be able to serve both families, all families.
Yes.
Give them what they're looking for. Sometimes go above and beyond just to give them that special, that small touch. So it's a ministry from the beginning to the end.
Okay. And I think that echoes, again, the customer service, the being connected to the community, because these are people that you see, the families that you know, and you're able to meet them at that time. Okay. And so one of the things about having the conversation is about the component of, let's not wait until we have that moment of we're in the thick of it. Let's be prepared. And so that's the conversation I wanted to have with you guys. And so everybody that listening, I want to just really take my time with this because this was dear to me. I found myself in this situation when I lost my brother, but it comes back down to being prepared. And so I just want to have the conversation about not being afraid to have the conversation. Share your vision, share your desires. Let somebody know what your final plans are. Let's not wait till mama will want this or daddy told me this. Let's have a conversation. And looking at your website, you have a outlet for that. People can come talk to you or some pre-arrangement services and really have that as an option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have that. We offer all types of pre-needs, pre-need counseling and things of that nature. If you want to just give us a call and just talk about the options that you may have, we'll let you know how things that you may have in place, whether they're adequate enough. A lot of times, we do know that things prices go up.
Prices go up.
What may have been sufficient 20 years ago, not necessarily at this time.
Well, that's with everything.
Exactly. So a bottle of ketchup costs a little bit more now than it did then.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Of course, you know that caskets, burial plots, all of the services cost a little bit more.
Right. And so with that, being prepared, you already have had that conversation with your relatives. So that would take the pressure off the relatives. And then you're sharing your vision. Because with anything, you know, I don't want people to feel like you can't have the conversation. It's a taboo conversation that you just can't have it. I feel that you should talk about this. I mean, it's not something you got to talk about every day. Have the conversation with your immediate loved one, somebody that you know that you can trust, and document your wishes. So that way, when the time comes, somebody can execute what your desires are. And it won't be that tug of war that we normally see sometimes with families. So pre-arrangement is a service that's offered by Green's Funeral Home. So if that's something that you're interested in, I encourage you to reach out to them. They are more than available to assist you and talk to you about those pre-arrangement needs. Prepayment is an option. I also saw there was a link on that too. You can build your own plan. So that way, keep in mind, costs do change and prices do go up. That catch-up will go up. However, if you know that you got a baseline, it's a lot easier to get to the next level than start from ground zero.
That's right.
Yeah. And then that goes to the GoFundMe account. You know, sometimes I see too many times people will execute the GoFundMe option. That's not a burial plan. That's a hope and a prayer that somebody's going to give. But if you take the time now to go ahead and be prepared, I like to leave you with talk about it and go live. Don't dwell on it. Just have the conversation and go live your life. Don't think just because you had the conversation that today is the day. Live with knowing that you've made your plan. Obtaining life insurance. And I saw on your webpage as well, that was something that you can link people to and have these pre-burial options. So that way, life insurance is a great way to support your family, you know, when that time comes. And so it actually takes the burden off of how we're going to pay for this, because at the end of the day, y'all not doing a raffle and giving them away free.
No, we're not.
Okay. Okay. So creating a burial fund is something I looked up, as well as securing your own burial plot, because that's not something that you all can say, hey, we're going to secure this for you.
Well, with the burial plots, a lot of times in this area, we do a lot of church cemeteries.
Right.
Larry can probably attest to that. That can be an issue in itself. The church is not obligated to bury you, especially if you're not in good standing.
Exactly.
So there are places, if you're not a member,
that's
an opportunity.
And that's another cost.
Yeah, that's another cost. Yes.
That's another. You can't go on grandma's timber that she set up. You gotta have your own.
You have to have your own.
Yes, you have to have your own. And it's not, and it goes back to, you know, having the conversation, find your church home and get rooted into it and pay your tithes, and so you'll know what's expected. talk to the committees within your church. Even if you have this is my family cemetery, there's still a cost associated with that. And so it goes back to having the conversation and being prepared.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right.
All right. I also just want to talk to them a little bit about being open to grief counseling. Because sometimes, we get to, especially in African American community, we sometimes feel like we can't have the conversation after the fact, or we don't need the counseling. But it helps and that's something you can link people with too.
That's correct.
Okay.
Everyone doesn't grieve the same way. There are several stages of grief.
Oh, absolutely.
And each stage, you may grieve one way, and the time it takes for you to get through each stage,
correct,
may take a little bit longer than what I may go through,
right,
or vice versa. So it's one of those thoughts that you may need help.
You may need help.
You may need help. Not saying that you do necessarily, but you may need help. And if you need help, we're here for you. We can position you in the right place to meet the right people, so that they can assist you. Go to your clergy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have the conversation. So this is all about communication and having the conversation now. So therefore, when the time comes, we're not trying to figure out how to find our way. It is about having the conversation. And this is not something I'm telling you to go talk to everybody about. Talk to your key people that you know that will execute your plans and your desires, but also know that the aftercare is there too. I also want to just restate, do not live in fear. Have the conversation and go live. But that's all we're asking is we're making this about awareness and that you can be prepared. Is there anything that you want to say to, a family who may be, just don't know how to come in and ask the questions about prearrangement or pre-burial needs? How would you invite them into your office?
Okay, Larry. or me? Okay.
I would say don't be afraid to stop.
That's right.
You never have to, like I said, you don't have to live in fear.
That's right.
The conversation is always good to have. So then, like you say, your relatives know, and then you know, so when the time comes, you're prepared. As I say, every family is different.
Every family.
And when you're sitting at the table with the Yarborough family, it's different when you're with the Riddick family.
That's right.
But it's a joy in knowing Mr. Yarborough came in and we had this conversation.
That's right.
Let me pull his folder. Ms. Riddick came in. This is what her desires, her wishes were.
Right.
Everyone is on the same page, so you don't have to have that tug of war.
That's right. That's right. Because it's so emotional anyway, and then you got to deal with that.
And we're not here to push you to go in any one direction.
That's right. That's right.
We're here just to assist you with whatever questions you may have.
That's right.
The ultimate decision is yours.
That's right. That's right.
It's not up to us to say, well, you need to do this, or you need to do that.
Or mediate when there's a difference in family members' opinion.
We're here for that. Well,
that's part of the job. That's a part of the job. Well, I just want to have this conversation, and I hope this opens the door for you, Facebook, to go out and have the conversation with your family. We're in a time now where if you don't have the conversation, somebody's going to have the conversation for you. Somebody's going to make decisions for you. Somebody's going to not know what your desires are. I'm very transparent about what my wishes are. My family knows, and I tell them I'm not going anywhere. But when the time comes, they know. And so I encourage people to know that. And so also just to stop by your office. I stopped by, I get to get my tickets for the holiday gala, and I'm sitting and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such an inviting atmosphere. So that kind of changed the paradigm of I'm going to a funeral home, but it's actually going into you're walking in. You're walking in and you're finding service with people who are inviting and saying, hey, I'm here to help. And so I just wanted to have that conversation. Y'all have been very informative. And so is there anything you would like to share with, the local families that's out here? I know that y'all been busy, but you still took time to just have this conversation with me. So I appreciate that.
Okay. Well, we do appreciate you for giving us this opportunity to speak with you and Facebook. And it is It is my pleasure
Mm.
to be here. If there are any questions, you can reach us. Larry gives a number. I'm sure you'll.
Oh, it's 252-257-2345.
Okay, and you're still located at the same place
Mhm.
that our grandparents visit when Mr. Green was there. So you can't miss it. 109
South Front Street,
South Front Street,
right behind the
Right
courthouse.
right behind the courthouse.
Yes.
Stop by. If nothing else, just introduce yourselves, and they will welcome you. They will have a conversation with you, and you will be on the right track. And go and live. Do not live in fear. Have the conversation. Move on. And as we say here at Riddick Events, come talk to us before you talk yourself out of your next event. Have a good night.